Alright, so today we're going to talk about segments. Now segments have endpoints because segments are finite. They start in a place, they end in a place. They are not like lines. So because segments are finite, you can measure them. So like if I say find the length of, and remember this notation means segment, so find the length of AB, well, I'd say, okay, how far is it from A to B? In millimeters, looks like 40, is that 42? So you would say AB equals 42 millimeters. Pretty easy. Here, find the length of AB. Again, A to B. That's what, 4.5? So I say AB equals 4.5. But this time it's centimeters. And I'll be honest, these first two problems are not a high school standard. They are review from who knows what grade. But it's good to see sometimes something you've seen before in the past. So how do you measure things, right? And so I'm not going to do all of them because that seems kind of a waste of time. But what we need to get to is what's called the betweenness of points. And all it says is that in between any 2 points, you can always put another point in between those two. And we call that between. Okay? Yes? So the betweenness of points just says you could put a point in between any other 2 points. So like let's say down here we have PQ, and we put M between P and Q. Well, as soon as you put M between, that breaks the segment up into 2 parts. And the segment addition theorem, all it says is if you take each part of the segment, it equals the whole part of the segment. That is all the segment addition says. So if you want to find PQ, you take PM plus MQ. If I were to take this pen and break it, it would still be the same length. It would just be in 2 different pieces. That's all that's saying. Okay. So here, find XZ. Assume that the figure is not drawn to scale. They say that, and they say that in the ACT so that you don't have a ruler and just measure it. Okay, because they did not draw it to scale. So we have XY. XY is 4 5/8. We have YZ is 2.5. So how would you find XZ? Well, XZ and I like to put a line through my Z so it doesn't look like a 2. XZ, the whole thing, would be XY plus YZ. So if they want me to find XZ, which is what they want, I just got to add up the 2 pieces. So XY, or I'm sorry, XZ, XY is 4 5/8. YZ is 2.5. Now you should remember from a previous math class how to add fractions. That is not a high school standard. It's actually, who knows, grade school or middle school. So if you know how to do it by hand, great. If not, we go over here to Desmos, Math Tools, there's a scientific calculator that would be good to use. And so I'm trying to add 4 space 5/8 plus 2.5, and you have to hit the space bar, and then the fraction one's over here. See it? $7.125. I'm not familiar with Desmos, but there might be a way to even convert these back to a fraction, but nope. I know on the graphing calculator you can. But we could put 7.125. So real quick, how to add these fractions. I mean, this part's easy. There's 2 ways to do this. I'll just show you the way that makes sense to me. Here we have 4 plus 2 is 6. And then if we add 5/8 plus a half, and I'm going to go through this faster than maybe you're used to. When you add fractions, you want the denominators to be the same. That's an 8, that's 2. We want that to be an 8, so we multiply by 4. And so then we have 8 and 8. And we have 5 plus 4 is 9, so that's 9/8. Which 9/8 is the same thing as 8/8 plus an 8. And 8/8 is 1, so we need to change that 6 to a 7. So we have 7 plus an 8. And if you type 1/8 in, you should get 0.125. Do you see that? Alright, on the next one, find LM. So I have a highlighter. I'll go ahead and highlight LM. Assume that the figure is not drawn to scale. Well, I know that LM, well, there's 2 ways to write this, but I know that LM plus MN is LN, right? I also know that if you take the whole thing minus this part, you get LN. So you can set that up 2 different ways. So I could say, and I'll write it all out. So segment addition says if you take LM plus MN, you get LN. And because they want me to solve for LM, I would take away MN from both sides. And I get LM equals LN minus MN. In other words, to find the small piece, you take the large piece minus the small piece. So that'd be LN 4 minus MN 2.6, which is 1.4 centimeters. So LN equals 1.4 centimeters. I would say example number 5 is where it really gets to the standard. So example 5 is more like what you'll see, and I've already told you I previewed the test for you, and so number 5 is pretty similar to what you'll see. So everything else is just building up to what you should know how to do. Notice they ask us for 2 things. They want us to find the value of x and st. In my old district, we would circle what they're asking us to find so I don't forget. So at the end, I should say x equals st equals. T is between s and u. So I need to draw a picture. How you draw your picture is up to you. But if t is between s and u, so I need to put s and u with the t somewhere. We don't know where. It could be exactly in the middle. We don't know that for sure. So maybe we'll put it a little like right there. So we have s to u, and we have t somewhere. It could be halfway, it could not be halfway. We don't know. But so far, t is between s and u. St is 7x. So I should write that down. St, so I'll put 7x. Su is 45. So the whole thing is 45. And then I also know that Tu is 5x minus 3. Alright. Well, I can now solve this because I know that if I take St plus Tu, that equals Su. What is St? 7x. What is Tu? 5x minus 3. What is Su? 45. From there, we're down to an Algebra 1 problem. You took that last year. You need to find the value of x. So I see like terms. 7x plus 5x is 12x. I would then add 3 to both sides. And then divide both sides by 12. And I get x is 4. 48 divided by 12. Now that was only one piece of what they asked for. They said, what is x? X is 4. Now they also asked, what is st? Well, st is not 4. We need to plug 4 in for x. So st is 7 times 4. And what is 7 times 4? 28. Let's see if this works. So if I do this piece here, that'd be 7 times 4, that's 28. And if I plug 4 here, 5 times 4 is 20. 20 minus 3 is 17. Is 28 plus 17 45? Yes. That's a good way to check your answer at the end. So they asked me for 2 pieces of information. Maybe I'll highlight them. They asked me for x. They asked me for st. Now, one thing that's important to also talk about is what this little segment means. And so if you see this segment, that's just a way of saying that this distance from A to B is the same distance from C to D. So if you see, I call it a hash mark. If you see the same hash mark, those mean that those are equal. And we don't say equal. When we're talking about segment lengths, we use the congruent. And so this means AB is congruent to CD. Okay? And so, in all honesty, all of my notes, I totally forgot. I'm so used to equal, and I just taught algebra where all we did was use equal. But in my notes, I probably should have used the congruent symbol. because we're talking about segment lengths. Example 6, I don't see the purpose of doing that, but what I would do now is I would go and start working on the practice from the homework.